방사선센터 센터장이십니다. 센터장님을 무대 위로 모실 때 여러분 마찬가지로 큰 박수로 환영해 주시기 바랍니다. 전 센터장님은 나사의 우주 방사선 위험 분석, 우주인 보호 정책 수립, 그리고 차세대 유인 우주 탐사 프로젝트의 안전 시스템 연구를 이끌고 계신 세계적인 전문가십니다. 네, 오늘의 발표 주제는 뉴스페이스로의 정원과 나사 우주기업의 지원정책 변화입니다. 여러분 다시 한번 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ujusan from NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory here. We also belong to Caltech, the California Institute of Technology. So it's my very pleasure and at the same time a great honor to be here in Seoul at the 2025 Global Space Industry Conference. Before I start, I'd like to thank 방사선도 지사님, 진주시 시장님, 사천 시장님, for the invitation, 우주기술진흥학회와 경남 사천학교 여러분들 who made this event possible, and especially 한국기술진흥협회, they paid my travel. So I really thank you for the support. I think we also celebrated the first anniversary of the establishment in CASA, the Korea Aerospace Administration, tomorrow. So along the line, and the basis of the theme of this conference, I want to take the opportunity to reflect the past year and look forward to the future of the Korean space program and space economy. Drawing from my experience at NASA. As such, my view is about the roles of the government, central government, CASA, and at the same time, as the local government, like Gyeongnam-namdo and Jinju시 and Sacheon시. So I'd like to also emphasize that this is just illustration based on my personal experience, realizing that culture, politics, and processes and law can be different from the two different countries. I'd like to note three things before I start my talk. Please keep in mind that the opinions and content I'm presenting today are my own and don't necessarily represent the official view of NASA or JPL. Also, before I make a presentation today, I really didn't know which language I had to present. So actually my chart contains English and Korean. So it will be good, I probably mix the Korean and English together in my presentation. So it will be a good test case for AI interpreter for my talk. Okay, so third, I also want to thank everybody here, and so I see the large crowd from around the world. So really appreciate for coming. And so I'd like to start my presentation. So I'm going to cover three different topics. I'd like to introduce NASA in general, and also I'd like to go over the why we do explore at NASA, the kind of philosophy of our exploration, of what we do at NASA. And I'd like to present comparing the use case. We are getting the use case era. So I'd like to compare the use case between USA and Korea. Along the line, I'd like to make some kind of my personal recommendation about what Korea and CASA has to do for the future of the space exploration and space missions. Okay, so NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, everybody knows, and NASA is a government entity. The independent government entity of the U.S. federal government, and we are responsible for civil space program. I underline civil space program because we recognize that the DoD, they maintain the Space Force. They also working for defense and space program for the national security, and also again for NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, they are under the Sammu, the Commerce Department. So depending on what space program, we do have different entities. So for NASA, we are responsible for civil program, 민간 우주 program, civil program, aeronautics research and space research. And administrator actually is kind of the administrator. So the administrator of NASA is 장관 level. So they are appointed by the president and confirmed by Congress. So currently, after term of administration started about 3 months ago, we still don't have the NASA administrator. He's going through the confirmation process as of today. So we expect to see his confirmation, his confirmation in coming months and maybe a few weeks from now. And also, I'd like to also emphasize NASA is not located once place. NASA headquarters is in DC, in Washington DC, and we do have 10 different NASA centers. So NASA consists of the headquarters plus 10 field centers. Field centers, they are located across the nation. So we have 10 different field centers separated by the stars in this figure, and you can see it from the top right. So we in DC, around DC, Baltimore, there is a Goddard Space Flight Center, and also going south, going clockwise in Virginia, we do have a landing research center. And going down, and we have a Kennedy Space Center, and Kennedy Space Center, and Johnson Space Center, Javier, Armstrong, Ames, and also in Cleveland, we have a Grand Space Flight Center. So 10 centers, they do possess distinct expertise for space exploration, space technology. Some of the centers, they are doing more space flight missions, space science missions. Some of the centers they are emphasizing on the astronaut program. And so each center, they possess the respective expertise. So the current increase in NASA is that 10 centers around the country, we all collaborate with each other, and we are aiming for one goal for the space missions in the USA. So I'm not expecting you to read all the numbers here, but I'd like to just emphasize that we do have the budget. This is example for FY25, this FY25 budget. NASA spent $25 billion in FY25, this FY25. And I'd like to emphasize that we have 4 or 5 different areas that we are pursuing: science, exploration, technology, and space cooperation, and aeronautics. And a lot of people know NASA doing the human program, human exploration. We're going to the moon, we're going to the space station and so. But one of the things that people don't realize that we do spend a lot of funding budget for science. For science, we also performing planetary science, earth science, astrophysics, geophysics, and biological and physical science. So if you look at the budget, we spend equal amount of funding between exploration and science. So we are really doing many different things. We are emphasizing that we do exploration and science as two big pillars of what NASA does. Okay, so one of the things that we want to do with NASA, the key activity for this stage, which is called Moon to Mars program. So after Apollo program ended about 50 years ago, we stopped going to the moon. So we want to resume to send astronaut human to the moon and get to Mars. This is a big program representing the space exploration under the space exploration theme. So this is a big effort going on at NASA, trying to send the next human to the moon and to Mars. After the Trump administration came on board about a few months ago, the focus has been shifting a little bit to Mars, but we have been very focused on, we have been very contemplating the moon to Mars system together. So this is one of the key programs that NASA was doing recently. And next, I'd like to show the science side of the NASA thing. So there's a huge number of space science missions going on, covering entire field today. So we are observing Earth, more than 20 satellites doing the Earth observation. We also have many spacecraft, robots, orbiters, and landers at Mars. Also, we are exploring the Sun. We also are exploring other planets like Jupiter, Saturn, and also we are studying the galaxies and black holes. So we spend about equal amount of funding between exploration and science. So NASA not only with the exploration, I'd like to mention that NASA also spending investing a lot of funding and effort to this science. The question is, why we want to explore? Why explore? NASA has a kind of a big motor. So we want to provide benefit to the humanity through science and inspiration, and also this kind of American sense called national posture, national pride. So science is again kind of a key theme that NASA pursues. So NASA, when everybody kind of knows that after Sputnik, NASA was established in 1958. So as a part of the competition between USSR, the USSR and USA at the time, we had a very Cold War kind of thing. So, but the people at NASA at the time already questioning about the future of the NASA. What if the competition between USA and USSR struggling? And what do you do? So people at NASA at the time, the leader of the NASA at the time, were worried we want to do the science to benefit humanity. So science along with this exploration became a true pillars of the NASA program. Also, of course, the national posture, whenever we send some robots to Mars, and we have many launch big rocket, and our people around the world motivated and look up to NASA. So that's kind of a national posture. Also in Korea, there's same kind of thing happening. So when our boat was successful, entire nation was in celebration and really congratulations each other. So the space program is not only benefiting each person who's in the space program actually, but also benefiting entire nation, promoting national posture. One of the key things also we want to pursue from the NASA is that we want to educate, we want to do the next generation of science and engineers. So we do spend a lot of time and effort to train the scientists, engineers, and mathematicians, and so on. So NASA, as I mentioned, is secret space agency. So we don't do any secret things. We want to show off our accomplishment from this science mission and human exploration to the public, so the public can support what NASA does. So we kind of trying to gain the public support in science and also through exploration. So whenever I see the 콘퍼런스 and some young postdocs from many different countries coming to the JPL or other centers, they are really excited about the opportunity to work at NASA. Also, they are really inspired by what we do for the space missions. So they tend to stay in the field for a long time. So that's one of the things that we really want to do as a NASA to inspire the next generation of people and younger generation of the population. So space exploration, space science at NASA. So I think NASA's core values actually in the space missions we undertake. For example, when you think about NASA, what comes to your mind? Apollo missions, Curiosity missions, and Voyager, and space station, Hubble, James Webb Telescope. So everything the people and general public knows about NASA is about missions. So I think the NASA core value and identity is that what we do for missions, either for space exploration or science missions. So when we decide what kind of science mission we will do to promote our national strengths, to lead the space exploration, probably know at this stage we are competing each other with big argument and more big debate. Big risk that we think that currently the existing within the NASA and USA is that we are competing with China. So that's something we don't want to lose to China. So national competition, national pride to lead the space exploration is the motive of what we choose to do at NASA. And also speed of exploration, speed of space science is what we try to do at NASA. When we design the mission, the speed of exploration and speed, what kind of science we want to do, it's kind of deciding factor that we for missions. And again, we also learn science. Science is the fundamental promise for the future generation and how our mankind advance. So in my mind, the emphasis typically on long-term research and expanding scientific knowledge or immediate economic benefit. So when we think about space mission, when we think about space exploration, economic benefit comes next compared to our main objective. We want to explore, we want to do science, and then the economic thinking, economic motive will come to the next our main objective. So many technical achievement, many technology we develop is to support the space missions, space exploration. It's kind of byproduct. So think about it, NASA. We typically think space missions to do space exploration and space science, and all the technology we are enjoying, we are benefiting from the space mission, like GPS or the camera or many different technologies. So they are byproduct of space mission. So we think about the achieving the space mission objective. And to achieve that objective, we try to develop the needed, the necessary technologies. So mission first and technology next. But of course, we don't even know how economic benefit that what we do. So this is the report for FY 2023 economic impact report published by NASA. So FY 2023, our budget was $25.4 billion, or 30조 원. It's less than 25% more federal budget, so small amount. During the Apollo era, so we used to spend almost 5% of the national budget. But these days, NASA budget is small amount. $25 billion still large sum of money compared to other countries. Considering all the other things happening in the US government, we are spending less than 25% of the federal budget. But the total impact we estimated based on the study was $76 billion, about factor of 3 ROI, return on investment. How we are able to achieve this kind of benefit? This is again my own opinion. So when we spend federal budget, we hire people for job creation. So the federal money will be spent on your population, will be spent on scientists, engineers. So it will directly affect job creation. And also through collaboration in academia, industry, and international partners, we are generating robust economic output. And also, so as I mentioned, when we try to do space missions, we develop technologies. We always tend to try to transfer technologies to private industry. So NASA centers, we are doing just one-of-a-kind missions. We don't do routine missions. So once we've done things, then we try to transfer all those technologies to the private industry so that they can grow, they can use our technologies to create more opportunities for economic output. Also, we do support many small businesses through small SBIR, small business innovative research. So SBIR. So there's a small business program that we try to support many small businesses, small companies. So we support them to develop some of the needed technology to be able to enable our space missions. So we need to have a technology roadmap that we try to assign also through competition to transfer funding to support for those small businesses to support our missions. So this is how I think that our investment, our government investment, can create the economic output at the national level through various activities. So this is Korean. Try to speak in English. So why I think America's new space has been successful. So as I mentioned, so far all space, our approach has been that some missions, kind of special missions that the private entity, private industry cannot do. Like if I was to go to the Mars, what kind of a profit we are going to get, right? So the private industry will not volunteer to do those kind of missions. So when we do space exploration and when we do space science, there's kind of one-off, kind of very unique missions that private industry don't want to invest. So we, government, invest to develop those kind of missions. Again, 3 pillars: national posture, science, STEM, inspiration. And then, as I mentioned again, by doing those missions, we develop technologies, we accumulate technologies. Then we transfer those technologies to industry. So industry can use those technologies to develop their own things, their own business, their own missions, their own commercial entities. So over the years, since the space era, space age, since early 1950s, 1960s, USA been accumulating sufficient technology to be able to reduce the expense. But at the same time, by doing those very difficult missions, we were able to develop the innovative technologies. And then we transfer those technologies to the private industry so that they can use it. And also, I think the USA government has really to support the private industry through missions. And the policy also follow those kind of thinkings. So government willingness and policy of US government have helped to establish new space in USA. And also, there's been some growing growth in the space industry, space commercial sectors, the communication satellite, imaging satellite, and internet, and all those things provide us to good market for private companies to prosper, to take some profit. And also, I think this is a key point that the USA was successful, that over the years, again, remember three pillars, STEM, through education, through inspiration, we were able to generate next generation of the scientists and engineers. They used to stay in the field. They don't go to medical field in USA. They tend to stay in the science and technology and engineering. So we accumulated enough sufficient manpower throughout the years. One of the things I'm most worried about in Korea's situation is that we are losing population and birth rate is kind of falling down and future is kind of being green. So this is an right, they all wants to study medical field. So I think we need to change those paradigm by helping them to participate in space missions, inspire them to stay in the field. So I'd like to, again, this is one of the key points that I'd like to bring up in this talk. Also, my personal worry, most worry I had for Korean future is that losing population, losing younger people doing science and engineering and technology. Also, again, USA wants to lead the field. The USA wants to lead in the world. They want to grab the international power through the new space. Am I doing time? Okay, so one of the two examples I kind of included here is that this is another example that currently ongoing in the USA. NASA been there done that. So we send the human Apollo missions to the moon. So at this time, NASA wants to help the private industry to launch the NASA provided payload so that the private industry grow in the area of the space launch market. For example, intuitive machines, astrobodies, and fireflies, they are all doing this. They are all supporting the commercial lunar payload service. So we are NASA trying to build the infrastructure of USA companies, private companies, to be able to launch NASA payload systems to the moon. So this is ongoing. So far, maybe there's some hidden resistance. Going to the moon is very tough, very hard. Landing especially harder. So only one company so far has been successful in landing without tipping over. So again, we accept failures. Okay? We accept failures from the failure we learn new technique and new technologies. So we still supporting, not supporting the commercial lunar payload service by providing funding, government funding to companies. Also, space station will be retired in 2030. So, as the next of the space station, NASA wants to support commercial space station program. So, Axiom, Starlab, Blue Origin, they are all trying to compete each other to be able to jump into the new market, going to the space station, the next generation of space station. So again, NASA, we've been doing space station for the past 30 years, 40 years, so why we have to do it? So we must transfer our knowledge to these private companies. So what I think the Korea has to do for the new space and space economy. And I think this is theme that I've been speaking about. NASA is identity of NASA is about missions. I think also CASA's identity can be about doing some special missions. And supporting mission, launch vehicle, technologies, and electronics, and antenna, and communication, they are all supporting missions. So 10 years from now, when we think back what CASA can define, we need to think about what kind of missions CASA was able to perform and accomplish. So I'd like to, I think CASA, Korea in general, Gongsanamdo, probably wants to create unique missions that Korean can do, or Korean can contribute to the international world. So, advanced science and technology development, again, the manpower development and technology transfer and international collaboration, they all can be done through space missions. And also, I know Korean have very strong technology in many different areas. So, 반도체, semiconductor, communication, AI, and the space mobility and nuclear power, they all can be used to support the space missions. So think about space missions first, and they can develop technologies to enable those missions. Again, same thing. So we use space missions, science missions, and exploration missions, and to develop new knowledge and new industries and new jobs and promoting the national power. Again, I'd like to emphasize, every dollar, every won we spend on space missions, you just stay here in Korea, on the Earth. We're not sending the money, the funding to our space. And money investment will be spent for your people, for the future of the country. So with that, I'm going to end my talk, leading two quotations I really like. So this is something kind of inspiring quotation that I'm typically showing the public lecture to elementary school students or high school college students. So with that, I'd like to conclude my talk. Thank you for your attention.